Hello everyone and welcome to day 12 of the Wellbeing Essentials, where we are talking about my favourite topic, slowing down. Now, as I said yesterday, I promise this is more interesting than it sounds. This is all about exploring the slow revolution, which actually began back in the mid-1980s in Italy with the creation of the slow food movement. So it's been around a while and there's a chance that you may well have heard of it already. But whether you have or not, the fact is its application to well-being is monumental and completely timeless. Now, the world is obsessed with speed. In the West especially, we see time as a finite resource. Use it or lose it. Time is money. Everything we do has an opportunity cost attached to it. So we are trying to get around that by speeding up in order to fit more in. And on top of this speed issue, we also have this busyness problem. We are bombarded 24/7 by information and demands and opportunities. There are ever increasing deadlines at work and these soaring expectations, which we have to try and fit in around the rest of our lives. And this speed and busyness is having a really detrimental effect on our health and well-being. We kind of lost focus of what really matters, and we're not appreciating the most important things in life anymore. Now, the slow revolution really tries to deal with that, and it does it with some pretty old school concepts. The idea of less is more, quality over quantity, slow and steady wins the race, short-term patience leads to long-term gain. Now, it's been applied to various different aspects of life over the years, but as I say, it started with the slow food movement in Italy in the 1980s. And actually it was on the back of a number of fast food restaurants opening up in central Rome. Like, central Rome is one of the most thought-provoking and reflective parts of the world, and yet these fast food restaurants were opening. Some of the locals got together, initially in a fairly mocking way, started doing this slow movement thing, where they were saying, let's get away from this fastness and let's get back to cultivating and cooking our own food, or at least exploring ingredients in more detail and investigating cooking processes. It's all about learning about the food that you eat and then eating slowly, actually tasting and savouring food so that your body and your mind can really get the benefit from all of that nourishment and really enjoy it. And this idea really took hold, and it actually led to slow cities being made all around Italy. And it was all about kind of rethinking urban design. They started creating more natural open spaces so that people could get back to being around nature and actually slowing down and appreciating it. They stopped giving planning permission to fast food restaurants. They gave priority to walking and cycling as opposed to road traffic. And whenever there was road traffic, they slowed the speed limits down. And again, it really took off, and it started to be applied to various different aspects of life. There's now a slow fashion movement, which is all about trying to really enjoy your clothes and get away from this fast consumer culture we live in, where you use it once and throw it away. So it's about enjoying wearing your clothes. It's about actually appreciating them, buying clothes with longevity in mind and trying to buy seasonless clothes. I'm sure most of us have got an item of clothing that is our favourite, and it won't be a new one, it'll be something that's old. And then another really good example is slow journalism. I've actually put a link below to a publication called Delayed Gratification, which really embraces this. And it's the idea that rather than rushing to be the first to report a story, you step back and they actually report on things generally 3 months after they've happened. So they allow the story to settle, and then they go in and they're able to do some really in-depth writing and reporting that allows them to expose the real truth. Now, there's also a link below to a video by a lady called Kimmy Werner, who's a Hawaiian international freediver. Now, I'm not going to give anything away with this, but I really encourage you to watch the video, and especially the first 4 minutes, because what you will see is something really quite remarkable. And it actually evidences one of the key takeaways from this lesson, and that is that slowing down will expose you to experiences that you would never normally get when you're living at speed. Kimmy's experience both in the video and what she'd learned up until that point, allowed her to make a really conscious decision and take a considered action that led to this truly remarkable and completely memorable experience. Now, moving on from that, there's another link below to a website belonging to a guy called Carl Honore, who's become like the bastion of the slow revolution over the last decade or so. And he actually talks a lot about the fact that slowness is not about trying to live at snail's pace, it's about trying to live at the right pace. And he talks about this musical term called tempo giusto, excuse my pronunciation on that, but it's all about everything having a natural rhythm, a natural tempo and a natural pace. Now, if you think back to the physical component of this course, we discussed the stimulus adaptation response process and mechanism. And that first stimulus phase and the alertness phase and state is completely dependent on stress mechanisms to create speed and intensity and quickness in our life. We need that, it's part of our survival. But then after it, you've got the adaptation phase and this restfulness state, which is reliant on completely the opposite. It needs calmness and peacefulness and slowness so that we can rest and digest and focus and think deeply and clearly. Now, both of these states are equally as important for our survival. We have to have them both. We have to have speed and we have to have slowness. But the trick to well-being is knowing when to be in each state and knowing how to move efficiently between them. So speed is as important as slowness, but the fact is we still struggle with the slow stuff. So that's what we need to practice on. The trouble is there is a bit of a social taboo around slowness, like there is with rest, as we were discussing the other day. People see it as lazy, failing to make the most of life, unproductive. The fact is it's not. Slowness allows you to connect with your world. It allows you to really enrich your life. You can start to appreciate yourself, your movement, your food, your relationships, your environment, everything that's around you. So, stop, breathe, observe everything, consider everything, and appreciate everything. When you do something slowly that is supposed to be done slowly, it will really allow you to truly connect with every aspect of your life. You will connect with yourself more effectively. You will connect with the world more effectively, and you will connect with all of the amazing people in your world more effectively. Now that brings us on to the end of day 12, and actually the end of the main content of this course. Tomorrow we are going to summarise everything that we've spoken about and highlight the key elements to really ensure that you can move on from here and put everything into practice to enhance your well-being journey and move towards sustainable health and happiness. As always, if you've got any questions or reflections on today, then please do get in touch. In the meantime, enjoy slowing down, and I shall see you tomorrow. Take care, people.